Hi everyone. Today I thought I'd refresh who I am, refresh to you, refresh. I think we all need to refresh sometimes. I'd like to just sort of explain to you who I am and where I come from and what's the purpose of this channel, the Promethean channel. And then I'd like to just share with you a few ideas or thoughts, let me call it rambles, over my observations, my experiences within getting to know every one of you, and also how things have been progressing for us all as a collective, as individual. And so I wanted to start by saying, first of all, thank you to each and every one of you for persevering, for those of you who have been old hands on deck, so to speak. Thank you for supporting and pushing through. For those of you, thank you who are new, who have come along and joined and become part of the channel itself. And the reason I want to say thank you and express my gratitude to you, first of all, before I say anything else, is you have by now realized that the content and the material that are being discussed on these, or the videos that have been coming out on this channel, are very specific, they're very unique. They are very much related to what is observed in the reality that we are experiencing. And you have also seen that this channel is not the same as any other channel that you can perhaps find, and I can say that with um, love, and not because I want to say that this is bigger, better, more, whatever than anybody else, but because it is an expression of what I feel is connected to an uncreated creator or a great spirit. And for those of you who have perhaps come along and you have found yourself in a place where you are unable to understand precisely every iota or detail that's put into every piece of work or video that comes out, persevere, have tolerance with yourself. It's not created to bring confusion at any sense of the word. I know that you would know that this is true, but it is about the sense of familiarity that you're feeling when you're observing, when you're listening, when you're connecting with the content itself. It is what you're being reminded to think on. It is what you're reminded to feel and to express also within yourself, to explore, to go deeper. It's also important to understand that the information that comes out of here is very specific. It's every time it's different, and yet it is so much more. This channel has grown and it has expanded into a way that has become very sacred for me personally, as well as I would hope it would feel for you, because each and every time we are all connecting in our individual ways, in our individual processes, in how we are going forward, we essentially touch on what it is that speaks to us. And so we connect within the great spirit connection or the uncreated creator presence within ourselves. And so to be able to do that, the information on this channel is to inspire you, is to assist you, is to help you to bring healing to yourself. It is here to be part of the change that we have been going towards. It is something that I've noticed that whenever there is something put into this system, whether it's your thoughts or an idea or an expression or a particular word, aside from all of the artificial intelligent um, listening to what you're saying, I'm saying I'm not talking about track and trace, the usual bollocks. I'm referring to the fact that you know that once you're able to hear certain keys inside of yourself, that if you're holding onto those keys, more of the ensemble of the music piece comes to life. And so I want to ask you, suggest perhaps, to please continue with what you're doing, because I am certainly doing this myself. This journey is the same for myself as for you. We are all going through up and down trials, tests, and things that make us think deeper. We question, we are meant to question. I've also found it very important to express or I felt the need to bring teachings. I don't like the word. I don't really know what to call it, what else to call it. Lectures. It's not even that. It's just what I know on certain things and elements that I'd like to share and help people to understand. And yeah, I suppose I could call myself a teacher, but then that places me onto a place where I don't want to be on top. I want to be. I'm standing alongside you. So I guess what I wanted to say is the material on this channel comes from, I guess it's taken a while to for people to understand the sum of the material that comes through into this channel. And so I wanted to say that yeah, the type of work that I do is psychic work. I am psychic. That is such a these labels I don't like to use at all, but to give some sort of understanding to you what it really is. Yeah, so I would say I am psychic. I also do a lot of I use a lot of my psychic gifts to connect with the information, as well as, let me put it this way, common sense, which I think everyone has. And that is what is part of the existence in this reality as well. I have had a lot of dreams, and many of you have heard me speak about dreams. I use dream work and deeper intuitive energy work to essentially tap into the information as it comes. This is why literally all the information is, if you've noticed, sometimes it's a bit ahead of time, and sometimes it is on time, and it depends on how urgent the information is meant to come out, for it to come out the way it does. And then for me to be able to take that information, write it down, and then to look at it and to process it and to wait for it to speak back to me. This is why material is so there's no particular rhythm or preset time when things come out. They come out at the right time when they're meant to come out at the right time. Now it's interesting that the last video that I've made, the Orions and the root races, that video was meant to come out a few years ago, but because the reality was in such a disarray at the time, the information was held back, and I felt that it was held back. So every time I make a video, I feel that I can make it. If I don't make a video, then it's because I don't feel it's the right time to make another video. So, as I said, I am not creating things uh, to suit a particular um, way in how the system operates. In actuality, I actually go against the conformities. It is in my nature, and perhaps in the nature of the information, that it goes against the norms or the conformities of societies and realities. I believe, and it's strong for me to say that I believe in bringing the truth in, and the truth that is related to an uncreated being or great spirit, as I've said many times, and that information that comes from that being or the being speaks when it needs to be spoken, when things need to come through. So what I'm trying to say is the timing of information in a human interpretation is as it is, alongside and within Great Spirit. Another thing I wanted to share with you is, or let me put it this way, there's been some struggles to try and bring across particular material over time. I mean, behind in the background, you don't really realize once someone presents particular content that there is often a type of energetic scrutiny that takes place. So things really go, when they go bad, they go wildly off the wall. Such as I've said, expressed in the previous video about the logistical dramas that I've been going through. But needless to say, this is what happens once one is willing or driving or working, as you have found in yourself, where you feel there's a force, there are forces that try to go against you when you're trying to bring this information in. And coincidentally, what happens to me is I just become even more determined. I don't stop until the information is out. And so I think if you've noticed and you've experienced that in yourself, your life, your processes, that you will have noticed that this is definitely something that stands firmly in recognition of your success in driving something good that you feel is inherently coming from a higher place in your existence. There'll always be a reaction to things like that. And so I want to jump back to the root races videos and all the other videos that I've done with regards to the content that comes in. All of the content, as I've said to you, is very original. I write about what I feel as it comes to me. I'm inspired from the Great Spirit presence, you see. And I write what is in my what is coming through me, and I bring it onto paper, and then I look at it, and then it speaks to me, and I'm thinking, what is this now? Why is this coming up? So humans, we also question things, but needless to say, the information that comes out of that root races video is very much based on research. As I've said, it was a part of my life research that I've put together. This is why I say um, things don't just come on here for no reason or for nothing or just because of just for things. And you've also noticed that I don't really care about the numbers of subscriber. It's not for me. It's important For what is important for me is to be able to share something with any one of you and to be able to feel your heart connect with me as mine connects with yours. And then that helps to bring the presence of Great Spirit into this reality, the awareness. See, this reality has been manipulated in so many ways that you cannot fathom the um, amounts of influences and interferences that have been put in place to try and eradicate the actual presence of Great Spirit from this world. They've been working very hard at it. And so the interesting thing is it did happen. I mean, you can see that it's the lack of the connection of let's say a godhead within the self that's really where things start to fall. You could say it's a type of fallen sense. That is, there is always going to be a fall and a rise and a fall and a rise. Just like the planet goes through it rises and falls. So what is happening now is no more different than what has happened many hundreds of years ago before. The interesting thing is, though, that I've noticed is if you look at the elements of catastrophe that was put in place in, let's say, Spain with the Spanish flu, and you really go into that direction and you sort of do a little bit of homework for yourself, and you go and explore the Spanish flu and you explore Spain and you realize, there's quite a lot of similarities. And then suddenly it gets squashed by something else. Then this is now somewhere else in another country. And so you've noticed that there's always this pattern. And this pattern is sometimes you miss the pattern, but you'll only know that you've gone through a pattern or patterned behavior if you look back or if you look at what you're experiencing now. And so what I've noticed about this pattern is it's greatly it's greatly given momentum or power by the people. By people. It may be inserted into reality in various ways, such as many people who have signed up to go for the lectures. And for those of you who may not know, I'll be doing a lecture on how to recognize symbols and signs. You'll recognize these patterns. I want to say to you that just as the reality is heavily fought over, and I mean, you can see it, everything that you're going through right now, you can feel things are gearing up. It feels like things are a little bit strangely hidden right now, deliberately so, but in actuality it's not. What's happening now is really just the same as the previous years and the years before that, and the same plan. This is why I'm trying to tell you is the plan, their plan, its plan, all the little elitist people, and not just elitist people, because you see, that is also a blanketed statement, because you get people that are actually not elitist, even though they present a particular position in life, in the world. And I'm talking about how they behave and how they are towards their fellow man. That defines you, you see. You can be an elitist snob if you're not even in that position. You can be a tyrant if you're just living on the as a normal Joe soap. You can be a tyrant if you have absolutely no connection to your heart or your connection with Great Spirit, or that you are actually in fact placed here just to assist the progress for their plan. But the question lies with you, from what I want to say is what is your plan? What is your plan? What is your plan, and how are you implementing your plan? Or are you allowing your plan to be infiltrated by elements such as material that's being widespreadly spread around through social structures or platforms where even in the most commonest manner possible, when information is put down, like for example on these groups, these chat groups, oh my gosh, whenever there's a bit of material that's being spread around about some sort of chaos drama happening, whatever, or I'm not talking about the people that are putting information out there to, well, actually I'm speaking to people just generally. What is your influence? What is your input in trying to put that piece of content down? What are you trying to accomplish? Are you trying to help people? And how are you helping them? By making them feel afraid, more afraid? Or are you trying to help them by sharing the truth for what it is? Because if you are choosing to be in between those places, just be mindful that you are assisting a plan that perhaps is not the plan that you will want to live in. I'm speaking about people that are um, contributing. Because seriously, if you want to do something really bad, you only have to have just a little, let me say, a handful of people who are in control of the media, who are in control of spreading the information around. That's all you need. Because the people do the rest. For real. The people really believe, people are allowing perhaps themselves to be in a place where they feel lost and to allow themselves to be taken for a ride. This is me rambling today. I don't often bring the rambles in, but I feel it's important just to give some sort of clarity, share my thoughts with you. Let's pick our brains. Let's have a fireside chat. So, in actuality, I think it's time. I feel personally it's time for us to start taking note of what it is that we want to bring across into the world, with firstly into your own life, into how you feel and where you're going, and then that which is around you. And if you're angry with society, then that's going to be part of the plan that you don't want to be in, unless you want to be in it. Then that's also okay with you. I'm not going to judge you for that. To each his own. However, be mindful that the extreme, simple root of the entire problem of what is happening in society and societies over time and root races, etc., 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 until we are here now, is a deliberate enforcing or persuasion of letting go, or what's the buzzword, canceling out the connection that is Great Spirit. Irrespective of how you feel, what your connection is to who you speak to in the mornings, who you pray to. It doesn't matter who or what you are praying to. That connection that you have is slowly being eroded. Eventually, you could lose the chance or the choice to even have the opportunity to connect in a prayer or a meditation with your creator being. And that is my concern. It's a big concern for me, because why is it so that more and more and more people are losing the connection or the ability to be able to communicate internally, inner thoughts? Why is there a problem with that? Why I've noticed that people struggle. Not this is just me talking generally speaking. I'm sure that I'm highlighting some of your thoughts as well. Why is there a losing touch with that inner reality? It's not only also because of the fact that it's instated for people to lose that ability or the internal consciousness connection. It's not because of the fact that there's this God sitting there with his horns and he's saying, okay, everyone that's praying, we are cutting off the cords to the prayer. They can stop praying now. They will stop. It's nothing like that, okay? There's not anything like that at all. What I'm trying to say is people become lazy, absolutely lazy. People generally speaking, lose the ability to want to do work for themselves within themselves. If there's so many people, some people that I deal with, they'll ask me certain things, and when I tell them, okay, actually what you need to do is you need to go into yourself, and if you want to have that relationship work, then you need to just step back from it for a bit. Just step back, stop trying to force it to happen the way you want it to happen, because that's why that person is running away from you, because they don't want to be chased. And then to come into yourself, and then to focus, what is it that you want to try and heal, that you want to try and fix. And the person would say to me, I don't have anything to fix. He's got the problem, or she's got the problem. Do you understand what I'm trying to say here? So what I want to tell you is, I think this is really, I feel really that is the problem, the lack of connection to the internal reality, or the internal. And that in itself, if it's slowly eroded over time by being replaced by other things, or whatever, addictions, whatever, then that is where you lose touch with your self, your life, and where you're going. And so when you lose that, let me use the symbology, the rod, or the staff, which is the symbolic reference to your inner guidance, your spine. When you lose touch with your staff, you can't walk on the path that's so the way it is, unless you want to be on a path that perhaps makes you feel, yeah, I don't need a staff. I'm just going to go with everyone else because really that's okay for me. Or what I've heard also is shrug. There's nothing going, I don't see the problem. I don't see anything wrong, I don't see anything wrong with Gestapo behavior, I mean, they were looking for it. It's their fault, or it's because they this race, or it's because they that color, or that belief, or whatever. The apathy, when you lose connection with the stuff inside of you, or the inner reality within inside of you, you lose touch with empathy. You lose touch with your heart. And so your life then eventually becomes exactly designed in the way that you are living. And so there are many, many, many multiple realities functioning in this hypercubic reality, which is a system that is created and being artificially propped up, literally, as we go day by day. For your note, you'll probably eat a little cube like this and it's green. Do yourself a favor and watch Soylent Green if you can. It's quite disturbing, but I'm trying to tell you to look at the allegory of the entire thing, not at the thing to get freaked out. Please. Everything that I suggest here is for you to look at things, to understand how to think and look at things. It's not about trying to tell you how to do it, but I want you to go into yourself. I always say this. I'm always urging you to do this. I'm urging people to do that because I'm doing it. I'm doing it. You can do it as well. I'm no different than you. We're all the same in our existence physically. I've just chosen to be more focused and more disciplined in inner world and outer world. There is a balance between those two. That's important. The balance is from how you experience this outer world, how you experience to be part of this hypercube that's neatly placed onto the planet or into this reality like a thorny crown, because that's what it's about. That was what it was all about, not the actual person. That is an allegory. I'm not saying that person never existed. I'm not saying Jesus never existed, but in reality, if you're led to believe that there's one person that has saved every 8 billion plus whatever X amount of people on the planet, seriously, then you really are following an ideology that is designed or interfered with from those who want you to believe that, because then it means you don't believe anything of yourself. You place something and someone above you, and you become subjected to that person's spell. You become spellbound by that person's craft. So, these are my rambles. I'm leaving this with you. And I'm saying to you, you're going to be okay. Just keep doing the inner work for yourself, not for anyone else, for yourself. Even if you're going and subscribing to yoga classes, it doesn't matter. Do the inner work. Think while you're going to be doing your stretching exercises. Go into your thoughts. Think, feel, explore yourself. Who am I? I know who I am. I am not you. We are all individual within ourselves. We are like the fingerprints on a hand of Great Spirit. This channel, I am really feeling that is for us to connect and become aware that we are a community, whether it is connected over airwaves, whether we've seen each other, whether we've not seen each other physically, whether we've spoken to each other, whether we have not spoken to each other, whether we are looking at each other right now and thinking, or whether we are wanting to really do some actual work within ourselves, because this is why this channel is here, is for those who are wanting to work on themselves, because this is what I feel is part of what creates if you want to call it, resistance to a conformity, or as some people become so completely conflicted and confused over the word conformity or unity, which is now meant now, lately understood as singularity, which is absolutely wrong, false, fake. To be in a unity means I acknowledge you for who you are, for what you are, and for what you've accomplished in your life. If you've had 50 years of living in a colony that perhaps was not good for you, or a circumstance, and you have come and found yourself here, and you are wanting to work on yourself, then I acknowledge you. I celebrate what you have experienced, and I acknowledge that that is part of your definition of how much courage you have in your life. And we're here to do the job. This is our job. This is our work. This is a work that we do for ourselves, and what we do within ourselves and for ourselves, that becomes the change that we are seeking. To change and energize those that we come in contact with through the awareness that we are directly connected to a force, a supreme force that is uncreated. Whether you are communicating to your creator, God, or whatever the name is that you have for him, or it, or what. Fact is, you're doing inner work, you're praying. Okay, that's good. That is 100% good. But you are doing the work as well. You're not just going and praying to something and hoping things get better, but you don't do anything. That's what I'm trying to explain. I think this is where people perhaps misunderstand what I'm trying to bring across, is what I'm trying to say. When you pray to a being, to put it like that, but you don't do any work, you just pray and you ask and you ask and you ask and you ask and you do nothing else. You don't work on yourself. You don't fix things up inside of yourself. You just live to want. Then you're praying to that being is false. It is captured by the reality of this cube that is implanted into this plane, this planet, the spherical planet. So, what I'm trying to tell you is, dig deeper. Investigate the being that you're praying towards. Investigate the roots of that being. Investigate. Go in to yourself and investigate. Do that. If it comes up that, yeah, Ahura Mazda was actually the right one, then go for it. Connect then, before it became Zeus. Do it. Work on it. You will be fine if you do this. It doesn't matter. You're not going to fall off the wall. You haven't done anything before, so now you're doing something. So expect some resistance. Okay? Because remember that this cube is designed to create thorns, to torment you, to make you let go of internal connections. And the more you're the more you fight against that force or that element that's interfering with you, the more you are forged, the more you are becoming stronger, the more you are becoming authentic, the more you are becoming actualized, the more you are becoming connected to that creator force. Okay. So I'm leaving this with you. I'm not going to talk all day. We've got work to do. My love to you, always, and my gratitude to you, always. We are within Great Spirit, and Great Spirit is within us. Much love. Bye.